Hi YouTubers, hi, I'm back with 40 Years of Mills and Boone, and if you notice my glass is changing as I'm talking, I've just been outside. So, another book, and here we go, by Melanie Milburne, called The Valquez Bride. Okay, right. Untouched, Theodora Milestone has always wanted the fairy tale wedding, a white dress and adoring groom. Instead, she's walking up the aisle towards a matter of convenience to an outrageously attractive Argentine Alejandro de Valquez. He promises raw sensuality, not devotion. But thanks to her father's will, Teddy must say I do. Alejandro has never wanted a wife, but his buttoned-up bride is a delicious present just waiting to be unwrapped. Beneath the wild silk lies a woman who exceeds his wildest imagination, and it's clear that this union will burn the very paper it's written on. So basically, poor Theodora, or known as Teddy, okay, to everyone. Now, her father, who's just died, has left her to Alejandro. Yeah. If she wants to keep her family property, she has to marry him. Yes, because her father was a bit of a prick who basically treated her like shit because he wasn't a son. Didn't really love her, but fought for her in a divorce because it's possession. Treated her like crap, even though she nursed him through his final days. And his final thing was to give her away. Otherwise, she will lose her family property, and it will go to his odious cousin, who's a man, of course. Of course. Right. 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 It was a home. That was her affair. It was her life. It was a safety and security. How could her father hand it over to her cousin who had been visited once during his illness? Teddy's heart was galloping so fast and so hard she could feel the blood beating every one of her fingertips, shock chilled and shoved through her body like a flow of ice. It had to be a mistake. Yes, because she spent the last 5 months nursing her father with pancreatic cancer, which my father actually passed away from. It's a total bastard. But her father's parting shot is to betroth her to Alejandro, the sexy, filthy rich Argentine. Okay. And Alejandro, he's not happy about this, okay, because he's got his own demons going on. I'm gonna spoil this now. He was left at the altar, okay, by the woman he thought his one true love. His own mother was horrible and emotionally distant, and never truly loved him. And he's also part of this, okay, but he wants the land because the land that the land is family land, like next to it. He wants the family land, so he agrees to meet her, okay, and the fact is, okay, that Teddy, it just appears, and this bit here, okay, right. Alejandro turned to see a small figure standing in frame of a doorway of the black and white tiled hall. It wasn't a fake nail inside or spray tan. She was wearing clothes that looked to have been sourced from a charity bin, and her hair looked like issued had dived in head first to retrieve them. There was a wild cloud of dark brown tresses around her head and shoulders, wavy, wide and curly. Clearly no effort had been spared to tame them. If anything, she looked as if she had recently mussed them up with her hands. Trousers were a dirty shade of brown, the checked shirt unironed, and the cable sweater she wore over it was covered in balls of lint. Right. So she turns up at this meeting, okay, to meet Alejandro, her betrothed, dressed up like a bag lady, okay. And Alejandro makes it clear, okay, listen, I don't really want any part of this, okay. She doesn't want any part of this, but they both want what each other can give, okay. And then this is when Teddy is so goddamn confusing as a character, okay, right. Right. The land is not the issue, it's whether I would feel comfortable watching you lose everything for taking a 6 month marriage, 6 months in a paper marriage. Her throat rose and fell again as she made a little gulp sound. Did you say paper? Chapter 2. But of course, Alejandro hooked a pitch black eyebrow upwards. She wasn't expecting anything else. Okay, and Alejandro basically says, you've got 24 hours to decide if you want to marry me or not. If not, I get the land, you get nothing. So, hey, win-win, and your cousin gets the house. So, and the fact is, okay, she seems kind of offended, like, oh my god, so I've turned out looking like a goddamn bag lady, and I myself, not exactly a connoisseur of fashion, I would never even dream of it. She seems kind of offended, like, he just wants a paper marriage. I'm like, you turn up looking like, you're Agnes on the dump, okay? So, what? What's expectations here, okay? Not exactly presenting your best self here, darling, okay? Right, right. He didn't want, and this is from Alejandro's point of view, because he's exactly the same boat here, but of course, he didn't want to marry her more than she wanted to marry him. He was playing a game, getting control. He was fiercely determined, powerfully motivated. He would do whatever it took to get what he wanted, and he wouldn't care who got hurt in the process. Yeah, tightened like a singing wire. Sparks parked him against his. She felt it impacted him as if he'd fired a laser at her. But it was not. It was all she could do not to blink. It was all she could do not to stare at his mouth. Oh my gosh, you get like a sexual awakening looking at this guy. It's like, she is so kind of, I don't want you, but I want you. I don't want you, but I want you. Okay? I want you to see me as a desirable woman, even though I'm not really presenting myself well here. Okay? And Teddy's issues, and I roll my eyes at this. Okay? Right. Right. This bit here. Right, I'll get to this in a second, okay? Right. Alejandra Valquez expected her to say yes. Any other woman would have said yes 10 times over. That's what was so galling. Expected her to feel grateful in that he was so magnanimously offering her his hand in marriage. A paper marriage. How insulting was that? Could he make it any more obvious that he thought of her as a deformed freak? Of course he wanted a paper marriage. What else? He wouldn't want her in his bed, not that she wanted to be in his bed or anything. Of course not. Of course not, Teddy. You don't want to be in his bed. He basically offered you the best safety net ever. 6 months, paper marriage, we get divorced, everyone wins, we can do this, okay? You become filthy, filthy rich. But as soon as he said paper marriage, she's like, what, he doesn't want me after all? What do you want, Teddy? What the hell do you want? And one thing that really bothers me with Teddy is this, okay? Right. Is that Teddy has a limp. Her father was such an arsehole, okay? He forced her to ride a horse that was too strong for her. She fell off it. She shattered her hip. Okay? She then walks with a cane and permanent limp. Okay? Now, someone, from my point of view, had to learn to walk again on my right leg. Okay? Everyone understand this? I've got a permanent limp too. It's so bloody annoying. Teddy's like, no one want me. I've got a cane, I'm permanent limp. Oh, she's not untouched, by the way. It just says that at the on the blurb. She had one boyfriend who basically did it for a dare, because who wants a deformed freak? Okay, so she goes on and feels sorry for herself, okay, about her bloody leg, and I'm like, darling, you are filthy, filthy rich right now. You are married to a man who's filthy, filthy rich. All you got to do is now, okay, get the best healthcare, and I don't know, get a hip replacement or some crap like that, okay? Because the way you keep going on about it, banging on about it, it's just ridiculous, okay? Right. Mm-hmm. This bit here, okay, is when Alejandro is describing Teddy to his brother. Mm-hmm. Right. Her strength of will was admirable. Not many people stood up to him. Not many people had the courage to do so. Her intransigence fascinated him because he couldn't think of a woman of his acquaintance who wouldn't rush him off to the nearest marriage celebrant to secure a deal. Why should he go so against the union? Was it him, or was it marriage in general? Or was she too playing the game? Was secretly delighted her father had selected him as her husband? Or she pretended to be gassed at the thought, while privately she congratulated herself on securing the prize catch? She's interesting. Oh. So, right. And then, okay, they get to the concept of the marriage, okay, where they're going to live. Because Teddy's like, well, you can't just marry me and stay in your house. You've got to keep up appearances. You've got to keep this going. And Teddy's like, but I can't leave my family home. I've got staff to depend on me. Teddy is a children's book illustrator, okay? She can work remotely. It's no big deal, okay? Right. And it's bit here, right? And the fact is, okay, it's bit here, okay? I have commitments here, cancel them. Teddy's back stiffened. Why don't you cancel yours? He had audacity to chuckle at her suggestion. I run a multi-million-dollar business. I have staff who depend on me, on their wages. I need to be on site to make sure things run smoothly as possible. Your work is transportable. Right. Isn't it? And give you room at my villa. In fact, you can have a whole floor. Think of it as a working holiday. All expenses paid. Yes, so essentially Alejandro's given her a room at his villa, okay, to do her job, which can be worked remotely. Right. But once again, Teddy's issues and her limp keep coming back into it. Her stupid limp. And her daddy issues. Of course she has daddy issues. The same way Alejandro has mummy issues. He blamed her for the accident when she was 10 years old. So he'd been grateful she hadn't been killed when it threw her. My father had been blatantly obvious he was disappointed in her recovery. Why had she got rid of the limp? It was only a broken hip. She'd have healed by now. Had she done the right exercises during rehab? Why couldn't she try harder? No one wanted a girl with an ungainly limp. I wish she had children one day she couldn't walk properly. Who would want her? No one. Jesus, this is when she's actually getting married. This is when she's getting mad and she's, spun off to Alejandro's home, okay? And she starts to get so blown hot and cold, okay? Get to know Alejandro. He doesn't like roses due to the fact, okay, that his ex are roses and he's totally against them. And they're getting kind of to know each other a little bit better. And once again, blowing hot and cold, it's kind of, I'm not going to fall in love with him. I'm not going to fall in love with him. Even when again she goes to Alejandro's home and meets his staff and finds out it's actually a pretty cool guy. He takes people off the streets and employs them and gives them an education. Okay? He's that kind of guy. She actually meets his staff. One of them, okay, who was badly beaten, okay, by his stepfather, found out on the streets. And now, okay, learning to ride horses and get an education. The other one was also in a very emotionally abusive relationship. And he was sitting there thinking, my God, darling, you are so privileged. You lived in this nice house, which wasn't yours. And you were a children's book illustrator, which wasn't really paying that much money because you couldn't fight a will. Yeah. Yeah, your privilege is showing, bitch. Your privilege is showing. Right. But of course, okay, Teddy gets a sexual awakening, of course. And even though she had one lover, of course, Alejandro's is the best sex ever, okay? Because you can be a sacred unicorn, of course. But the thing is, if you had previous lovers, this one here, this is the best ever. Those ones don't even pay on comparison, okay? Right. She was fed up in the whirlwind of her gritty determination and would no doubt be spat out 6 months later when she served their purpose. You get a nice house and lots of money, darling. Right. She had to guard against getting involved with him on any level. Not even as friends, especially not as lovers. But of course, right. But the thing is, every time Alejandro starts giving her compliments and starting to really appreciate her, she keeps saying her self-doubt creeps in, okay? Even when again, this bit here, okay? This is when, okay, a friend of his is chatting to Teddy. I wasn't looking for someone like you. Teddy tried to smile but didn't quite work. How do you mean? Someone with intelligence, with depth. Rather than beautiful, you mean? Teddy knew she should have said that. It sounded like she was fishing for a compliment. It all sounded peevish, childish, and immature, unsophisticated. Exactly what she was, wasn't she? She wasn't a party animal. She wasn't even a party decoration. She wasn't a stunningly beautiful social butterfly, able to mix with any company with ease. My God, comparing yourself to other people is so ridiculous. Okay, right. And then okay, they obviously start falling in love, start having sex. Oh, Teddy finally meets Eloise, the mother. Okay, right. Who just is only meeting briefly, okay, total bitch. It's just bit here. Right. It's interesting to see if you cope and when you have children. Have you ever thought about how you will manage with your disability? Right. And yeah, that's the only exchange okay she actually has with Alejandro's mother. Okay, she's a dismissive bitch who basically mentions the limp, and then Teddy gets up full. She's embarrassed. She starts to run away, and Alejandro stops her, and then they agree to actually properly get mad because they've fallen in love. Now, I would have liked this book if we kind of explored the issues, okay, but the thing is, sorry, Teddy's constant. No one loves me, even though I'm witty and actually sophisticated when I try to be, and no one loves me because of my limp. They want a trivial social butterfly going on, okay? I'm not beautiful. You know, you want to slap a character thinking, stop feeling so goddamn sorry for yourself. And the fact is, okay, she's like, well, I'm an introvert, so I'm a children's book illustrator, and no one loves me. And the fact is, okay, she wanted not to be with Alejandro because he's running a business. Oh no, Alejandro, I'll stay here, and you can just stay with me if you want to work. It's like, no, because you can work remotely. And the fact is, okay, that if you were a bit more dynamic, you wouldn't be in a situation to start with. So, hey, you know, you don't want to never moved out. So, I'm signing off here. What's it called again? The Valquez Bride by Melanie Milburne. Whatever. 40 years of Mills and Boone here. Sign off. Take care. Ciao. Bye now.